When we talk about sexual and reproductive health of women with disabilities, we look at issues around conception. A lot of people believe that women with disabilities are asexual, they don't have sex. However, on the flip side, you also see that these women that society believe are not having sex are most susceptible to rape and all other forms of violence because of their disability. And so we want also to draw attention to those kinds of issues. When women with disabilities are raped or experience rape, what happens? How do they seek justice? How do they get counseled? Do they get treated? Are they diagnosed properly? Especially when there are communication barriers, so that's one of the areas that we're looking at. The whole issue around gender-based violence as well. Women with disabilities are at the receiving end. A lot of women with disabilities do not even know how to identify or define abuse, or even know how to describe it, report it. And so a lot of abuse is swept under the carpet because they don't even know.
The first time I experienced sexual abuse like that, I was just 16. I was 16. The man who tried it was a family friend. He didn't succeed though. I escaped with bruises because I fought him. The second time I was 18. And that one was well arranged because it involved my best friends. That first time I did not tell anyone because no one would believe me. No one will believe me. It will be my word against that of the person because no witness were there. Only two of us. It will be my word against this. The only evidence I may have may be my cloth that was torn. But then anything could have happened to cause that torn clothes. And apart from that, the stigma that would bring was what I wanted to avoid.
Even in the midst of people with disabilities, women with disabilities are more vulnerable than others because in our society, even a woman who has no disability is already vulnerable by virtue of the fact that she's a woman, because of gender inequality in the society at large. So when a woman now has a disability, it's like having double vulnerability, and that becomes a real issue. And often people take advantage of them, people abuse them sexually, they're excluded in many ways, and basically their rights are not taken care of.
Our system is not helping matters. And I say our system, our health system is not helping matters. Now, a woman with a disability may not necessarily have a problem conceiving. But after some months, you're married for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, your husband tells you, wait. And the next thing, when you get to the hospital and it's not happening, you get to the hospital, the first thing they ask you is about your disability. Meanwhile, you've actually gone in there to see a gynecologist to help check if there's anything wrong with you. But the first thing they ask you is, when did this disability set in? They focus on the disability rather than the major problem you've come in with. So they're not really assisting at all. Another issue. Now, after like few months into my pregnancy, what happened? Of course, it happens to every other woman. I went into contraction at 4 months, late into the night, about 3 a.m. And my husband managed to rush me back to the hospital, and you won't believe it. No emergency, nobody to assist me, nobody to attend to me. And what did they do? They simply handed me over to a student nurse a student doctor in the emergency section. Now, let's assume I'm an hearing impaired person. I can't talk, I can't hear. And you come to me as a doctor and you ask me, what is the problem with you? How do I communicate with you? It's a major problem. There is no provision for such. There should be a provision for sign languages in our various health institutions to aid that. Now, in my own case, my husband managed to carry me and he put me at the emergency section to go and park the car. I was expecting that at least they should come in with a stretcher and assist. And the next thing the nurse said, "Madam, can you walk?" I was in pains. Of course, I wasn't wearing my calipers. And the next thing is, "Madam, can you walk?" I just looked at him. I mean, you should, appreciate that I have a challenge first and then come to my aid. Not, to me it was like, okay, you have a challenge, you didn't even pity yourself, you decided to go and get pregnant. Now stand up and walk and go and see the doctor.
Their attitude varied. If we are talking about general hospital, that's when the morgue were created for dead people. Only women who are ready to die should carry their pregnancy go there, especially disabled. Nurses there didn't care. Even during labor, you shouted so much, the nurse will spank you. Yes, he will spank you. And then she shout. Then there's some when you are enjoying yourself with your husband, did you shout to shout on me? No mercy. You will queue up. Being disabled, irrelevant. You will queue up for 5 hours to see a doctor, and you will not spend more than 5 minutes with that doctor after 5 hours waiting. So, how will he be able to diagnose you in 5 minutes? Especially when you are deaf. Most of them in general hospital don't have the time to sit down and write with any deaf person. What do you want? When you entered, what can I do for you? You forcing that to come out of their mouth. And their overall attitude and demeanor will show that they are impatient. As if the very seat they are sitting are very hot and they were ready to jump up anytime and run away. So what do you want? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? If you have not prepared yourself before you go there, they will ring the bell on their table, calling for the next person.
It is a problem that is general. You may find the same attitude among some doctors. You may find the same attitude even from the receptionist. So the whole health facility, the workforce, they need special kind of orientation to be able to attend to this category of people. All we need to do is to make the place accessible, make the place more friendly for these people to feel comfortable when they come, if and when they come in. And then when they get to the facilities, the attitude of the providers is also very important. For instance, a disabled goes to a gynecologist. She has issues with infertility. How does the gynecologist see that disabled? Does he see the woman as somebody who should not, reproduce because she's disabled? I don't think so. Disabled people should be able to go to any health facility to talk about contraception, to talk about sex, to talk about the need to procreate. If they have challenges, they should be free to get information. It is their right, actually. And then the healthcare professionals also need to be educated, because you need special skill to attend to the disabled. So they should also be provided with those special skills.
Women with disabilities in Nigeria are particularly vulnerable to a large range of health issues, ranging from those particularly related to reproductive health, those that are related to sexuality, and those that are related to various stages in development, the childhood, adolescence, and adulthood requirements.
We need to make provisions for them in the sense that if they want to seek health care, we need to make health care accessible. That is, you provide health care or facilities close to where they live. You provide transportation, which can be done, special transportation for the disabled. You provide insurance cover for them. Some of them may even live close to these facilities, but because they are economically disabled, they cannot access it. So if you provide national, for example, the national healthcare insurance can take care of that aspect to encourage them.
Society needs to keep reinforcing that disability is not such a big deal. The moment you're able to look beyond a person's physical looks or impairment, it goes a long way in the way you relate with the person. People are unnecessarily careful around persons with disabilities because they feel like there's something wrong with you. You know, we just have to find the balance in being respectful, being inclusive, being considerate without making the person feel different. It's a thin line, and people just need to find that balance.
It's high time. I think this perception can be changed if only the society can come to the understanding that the fact that someone has a disability does not affect that person's mind or that person's ability to carry on activities. The fact that I have a problem with my hand and my leg, it has not stopped me from going to school. It has not stopped me from achieving what I want to achieve, what I've set my mind on. My disability has not stopped me. So the society should come to the understanding that persons with disabilities are not like a charity case.
Now, I have a challenge, and God made it possible for me to have a child, to get pregnant unassisted. And there are other women out there, they're still desiring it. Now, who has the sexual disability? Who does? Who does?
And disability is even something of the mind, not physical. Because people who are physical can have sound mind than people who are not physical disability in any way. So every human being are disabled one way or the other. As all of you are sitting down here now, if this room are filled with deaf people, even just me and my husband are deaf, and I shut up my mouth, and he's to shut up his mouth, and both of us being able to sign language, who is deaf now?
The media can change the current perception that they give of persons with disabilities. Currently, media organizations profile a lot of persons with disabilities, but mainly in the sense of, oh, this person is disabled, but they are a doctor. And I ask myself, how is that a big deal? Because they have a disability. This person is disabled, but she got married and she has 2 children. How is that a big deal? Because she has a disability. So the message the media is currently passing is that when somebody does something ordinary that they should ordinarily be doing, let's make it a big deal.
You know, when I talk about the media, it's not just the print media or the electronic media, but also even our, our Nollywood film industry has a great role to play. You know, those people who write scripts for Nollywood, they need to think about these issues. You know, I think that's one powerful avenue, because almost everybody in Nigeria watches Nigerian movies. You know, that's one powerful avenue through which we can raise some of these issues.
The disability bill has been a long time coming. It's been there since, this is like 14 years since the struggle started for a disability law. If we have a disability law, we're hoping that a lot of the issues we're agitating about, we're advocating for, will be addressed. will be taken care of. The place to start is to have we need a legal framework to protect persons with disabilities. And that disability bill or law is the place to start. It speaks about education, it speaks about health, it speaks to public buildings, it speaks to freedom of association. I mean, a whole lot of things that have to do with the rights of persons with disabilities. It's going to become a crime to use a person with disability to beg or to solicit for alms. So you see all these persons with disabilities that are being dragged up and down on the streets, all that will stop because you can take people to court. People can go to prison because of that.
My mom traveled to the US recently and she was like, my dear, you need to leave this country. I said, Mom, if I leave, what will be the fate? We cannot rule out disability from this country, from this world. What will be the fate of those that will yet be born with one form of disability or the other? I mean, if I don't benefit from what we are asking for right now, let the generations coming after us, let them benefit from it.